I want a challenge every day, and a challenge every day is only in a special forces unit. Every day of your life, and I have served for about 20 years in in regimented units. So every day you are out on operations, and if you have it in you to face that type of a rigor of mental challenge, physical challenge, there is no break. We have not worn our uniforms. So if somebody is coming for the glamour, there is no glamour. You're not meeting anybody. Your operations, you come back, you take a day's break, again operation. Come back, take a day's break, again operation. So there is nothing known as a break. You are not meeting anybody. My daughter, we have one child, used to call me uncle because she didn't know that I was the father. So that is the state. So if you have it in you to face challenges every day of your life, day in and day out, in dangers, and of course that adrenaline of yours should be pumping, and you should have the leadership qualities. People should know that if he is there, nothing is going to happen to us. So if you have it in you, yes, special forces is the place for you.
Hello and welcome to Military Mantra. Today we have Brigadier Sanjay Thakur sir from the 9th Para Special Forces, and in this interview we'll try to understand his journey of joining the Indian Army, life in Indian Army in the 9th Para SF, and various life lessons that he has learned over his service. So thanks a lot, sir, for coming on this interview and welcome.
Thank you, Akash. Thank you.
So sir, if you could tell us, how was your life before joining the Indian Army, and what motivated you to join the Forge back then?
Uh, yeah, Akash, actually, I was a very impatient child, physically very active, you know, and outdoors was something which pulled me, and I couldn't sit still for even a minute. Very mischievous child, always wanting to do something in the physical and not in the mental. So this was my childhood, climbing trees, chasing, anything and everything, catching butterflies, chasing the shadows of, eagles, anything. And so that's what my teachers also told me, that I told my father that very impatient child, to make him sit. So it took me, I think, around sixth standard to start sitting, getting used to sitting in a classroom. So that was my the way I went to school.
Got it. And how did you eventually decide, you wanted to join the army?
Yeah, actually, in the sixth standard, my seeing, my aptitude, and the way the principal used to keep calling my father and saying that, yeah, your son, to make him sit still is very difficult. So what do we do with him? So he said, oh yeah, let me think of something. Then he was posted. He was also in the Airforce. So we were at Belgaum at that. So he said, why don't we put him in military school, Belgaum? So that is how it struck me. But of course, I used to see my father getting dressed every day and going uh, to the Air Force, and his work and his zeal and enthusiasm and his happiness. So that, of course, rubbed on me. And when this opportunity came to go to military school Belgaum, I was very happy. But my mother didn't allow me to join military school Belgaum. And then, of course, subsequently, again in 12th, when I reached 12th, I tried to write NDA examination two times. In our times, there were hardly any coaching centers, and so we could just go through books, and also I somehow couldn't crack that examination. And subsequently, again, it came knocking after my graduation. So that's what it was.
Got it, sir. So today also happens to be the Air Force Day. So you yourself is an Air Force kid. So how was your experience in
Yeah.
the camps and your friends, and you have served in the army. So how does life in Air Force look like back then?
Yeah, life was very good. Life is good still. Air Force, cantonment is a different ball game. It's a protected environment, and everyone knows everybody, and there are limited shops and things like that. There are just those many roads and no more. And but a protected environment, a protective life. so that way we did not have the hustle bustle what is there in the civic streets. And so you come up, your mind also is very structured gradually. You get used to it. Uh, but when you see, compare it to a civil street, one who is used to living in a out in the open in the civil street, uh, living in a cantonment is not easy, because in the cantonment you have a lot of time to yourself. There are just that there's one open air, theater, and there's just some playgrounds for you, and they are your friends. So that's it. So maybe that environment helped me to easily fit into the army. And of course, I loved Air Force. Air Force is a very, all of them, everybody is very intelligent and very cordial, very courteous, and rules and regulations and discipline and all. It's like any other cantonment. In army cantonments, if you compare the two, the Air Force cantonment and the Army cantonment, in Army cantonment, there's a lot of people. In Air Force cantonments, you don't see that many people because the size is massive. In Army cantonment, there are activities, so many activities. Everybody is planning something or the other. But when you go to Air Force cantonment, it is just one station. So they can do that much and no more. So, of course, there's a difference between the Army cantonment, Air Force cantonment. Navy cantonment is also very cordial, very intelligent people, very outgoing, So if you compare all three, cantonments, it's all of them have a similarity that they are spick and span. Environment is taken care, lots of trees and, birds, and the positive environment is there, and everybody follows rules and regulations and things like that. And the same open air theaters are there. And, I'm talking of a general cantonment without going into anything specific. So yes, protective environment is there for children. There's a lot of avenues for children, You do horse riding, you go to gym, you go to badminton courts, tennis courts, swimming pools. So children, the growth of children takes place, which is difficult for avenues out in the civil street. It's a little difficult. So here children benefit a lot. The fathers, they work very hard. The ladies have got to look after so many aspects of welfare, but children have a wonderful time, I would say.
Got it, sir. So if you could also speak about, your experience during the service selection board when you appeared for it, how was that experience? And, what tips you would like to give to the aspirants who would be, appearing for the selection board?
Yeah, what I feel is that you have to, all the children who are listening to both of us, I feel that it's a way of life. You can't just go and fudge and over there and try and speak something which you are not. So that's not the way. And the psychologists over there, everyone, the GTOs over there, they all are watching you very closely. They are watching you. And if you have attended some coaching centers and things like that, it's not going to work. So that is how the rejection rate in these services selection boards are very high. You have to make it a way of life from your 6th standard, 7th standard. You have to have a zeal, enthusiasm, positiveness within you, love for the nation, sacrificing attitude. You have to be a team person. You have to give everybody a chance. You can't be, that I will be number one. The Army, Navy, Air Force, they don't want someone who's a genius, someone who's a Tarzan. They don't want. They want a team player. They want somebody who will gel with everybody. We have to make compromises in life, so the other person may not be, you feel, everyone feels they're the best. So you have to allow the other person to also come into your life. Allow everybody to be given a chance to be in the spotlight. You can't be grabbing center stage everywhere. So live and let live type of a policy, because that is the way the Army, Navy, and Air Force or any government agency works. You have to allow everybody to function. All of us are unique. So the same, if you have this type of a thinking, then when you go for services selection board, this is what they want. They want to know, are you positive? They don't want an intellect of 5 out of 5. For them, 3 out of 5 is good enough. So they are not looking for something very unique. And the leadership, which everyone feels, you're born with a leadership attitude. No, leadership is not, it may be inborn, but 70-80%, you have to imbibe all those skills, all those personality traits. So you have to start thinking about it from your 6th, 7th, 8th standard. I want to serve the nation. I want to serve the community. It may be police, it may be CRPF, it may be BSF. All are serving the nation. See, everyone says, I want to join the IAS, but the merit list is so steep that out of 12, 14 lakhs, only the top 100 or so go into IAS. So it doesn't matter. You go to IRS, you go anywhere, you go to income tax, you go to excise, wherever you go. So the aim has to be to serve. The children must understand that you are a first class citizen in India. You go abroad, okay, you make a lot of money. So what's the point, So after that, at the end of the day, you have all your pots of gold, and then so what? All of us, we have served for about. I joined when January 1984. I joined the army, and retired in 36 on 30th September 2018. So about 34 years and about 9 months. And if there was some more years, I would have continued to serve. So the zeal, enthusiasm, everything. So when you go for your SSB interview, you have to have every pore of your body, your mind, your soul has to be to serve the nation, to serve the community, to sacrifice yourself for the good of others. So what happens is you carry everybody and everybody carries. That type of an attitude you have to have.
Got it, sir. So if you could also delve into, how was your experience in the SSB? How did you go through the process, the 5-day
Yeah.
process?
Yeah, actually, SSB is if you take it as a challenge, because see, when I was going for SSB, I asked my father, Dad, I have hardly studied. He said, you don't worry, you just go. You go and you be very frank and you say what you have to say, and you don't hesitate. Whatever comes to you, you say. Right or wrong, you say. Don't just keep thinking and trying to put your best foot forward. So what happens in those 3 odd days which you are there? They ask you so many things, they put you through so many tests, physical, mental, they show you pictures, they show you everything possible, and they're trying to read your mind. So when I went over there, it was like, I treated I was a sportsman, so I treated everyone, as my friends. And I said, it does not matter whether I pass or you pass or anybody. We should remember these 3 days. I remember all my friends of who had come for the interview. I had told everybody, it does not matter. You put your best foot forward. We will ensure if we are in the sideline, we will clap for you. We will encourage you. So we took it as not as a challenge. We took it as an event, because you do your best and you leave the rest. So I remember some public speaking topic was given to me. I think about cricket or something, World Cup or something. And then I was given some other topic which I was not aware. I just spoke whatever I had to speak. So I did not try to hide anything. And those 3 days were wonderful because none of the tests I could pass. In the sense, those mental quiz games and things like that. But I was not bothered, So I said, okay, this is it. I kept trying. So till the time was up. So, so those tests are designed for you to not make it. It's only later, people said, Sunny, you are not supposed to. They wanted to know whether you're going to give up midway or you're going to keep trying. So we kept trying. So without knowing that you have to keep trying. So SSB, those 3 days were wonderful. I made a lot of friends. And in the evening, we used to go out. I had gone to SSB Allahabad. I went around. I had not seen Allahabad earlier. So I went around. I went to Sangam everywhere, made a lot of friends and all. And those 3 days just went by. So the focus was there, of course, during the period when the SSB interview was there. Evening, used to just go out and have a good meal and all. And, went and saw so many places and things like that, made a lot of friends. And I don't remember reading a book even during those 3 days or trying to, catch up or. So there was no nervousness. And we were not tense. And we said, it doesn't matter if this is not the end of the world. If you don't make it here, you will make it somewhere else. So that's what line for the children is. There is something for each one of us, and there may not be something for anybody also. It doesn't matter, something will come up. So you don't worry. So that's what it is.
Got it, sir. So you spoke about the qualities, right? The leadership qualities. We hear something called as officer-like qualities, which are being tested in service selection board. You have been an officer, you are now retired. How do you look at officer-like
Yeah.
qualities, and how can an aspirant who's appearing can improve on those qualities so that his chances of getting selected improves?
Yeah, like I mentioned that you know you have to be very genuine. You have to be very genuine in whatever you're doing. So you have to come across as very sober, very mature. You have to be able, and you have to focus on your listening. Listening skills. I want our children to understand and our youth to understand. Listening skills are very important. You should not speak till you have heard the other person. What and read between the lines. Wait for the other person to complete his or her sentence and see, because if you are in a hurry to reply or answer, you may not get actually what the other person is saying. So officer like qualities are that you don't be in a hurry to judge the other person. You have to have discipline in you. For everybody gets up at 4 in the morning. So discipline is very important. So officer like qualities, you if you start off, you have to have a lot of discipline in you. You have to learn to follow orders. You may like it, you may not like it. Say you have told your boss something, that, sir, I think we need to go at this time or that time, and whatever he said, no, I think this is it. We'll go. So you don't have you don't sulk. You don't feel bad that you have not been heard out or whatever. You just follow orders. And that's it. So the officer like qualities are, there are about 36 personality traits which we call officer like qualities. So one should not go strictly by that, but you should have it's loyalty. You have to have loyalty for the organization you are serving. You have to have loyalty not only to the organization, the nation. You have to have loyalty to your peers. So there's something known as one step higher than the loyalty is the integrity. So integrity is something where up and down, that is vertically and laterally, you must be an integral part of that place we are serving. I should not just be loyal to my boss. I should be loyal to my juniors, subordinates. I should be loyal to my peers, my contemporaries. So loyalty, your integrity, your discipline, your service to the nation, your dedication. Your dedication should be beyond the call of duty. So what happens is, and you have to have leadership qualities. You should be able to, in any situation, stand up as a leader. Don't have to hide. When something happens, don't you take accountability. You take responsibility. So there are a lot of qualities which is expected of you. Speak clearly. You have to be in sync. Your mind, your body, your soul have to be in sync. I can't tell you something and then tell somebody else something and then tell myself something else. No. So officer like qualities, have the moral courage, speak up. And whatever that person is questioning you, you say it. Right or wrong, you say, this is why I have taken this decision. So have the moral courage. Physical courage is another aspect which you must have. But moral courage is a daily aspect. So officer-like qualities, the armed forces tries and tells you that these are the 36 odd, personality traits which has been seen in officers of the whole world, and they are guidelines. They're just guidelines to you. You may have as many as possible, try and imbibe them. But when you have those, and you should not be very unpredictable. You have to make the people around you comfortable. You cannot today be something, tomorrow be something, day after be something, say something, mean something. That's not the way. Armed forces, you have to be crystal clear, and they should be able to read you. If you if you in management, they teach you the Johari window. The Johari window says that in the arena is where people are watching you. So you are also watching, people are also watching. The Johari window has to be the largest. You tell everybody this is what I am. I get angry. I start shouting when something happens or whatever it is. I laugh, I enjoy, I have a very good sense of humor. You tell everybody about yourself. So what happens is everybody then knows that, yeah, when you say Sanjay Thakur, this is what he is. So you have told everybody. So that is the arena. So officer-like qualities are that you should be an open and a closed book. So what happens is the people on top, the people who are your subordinates, the people, your peers, contemporaries, everybody knows this is what he is. So they will be able to use you. It's a team game, it's like a game of cricket or a game of football where your captain, your manager, your team should know that this is the situation. So let's use that guy. Will be very good in this situation. You can't be hiding yourself and then people don't know how to use you. It's a team. It's a team game.
Got it, sir. So if you could also speak about, your life in the academy once you got, recommended, went through the medicals. How was your experience in the academy and various experiences that you had? If anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah, the Indian Military Academy is a treat. There's a lot of honor, entering the Indian Military Academy. It's an honor to be over there. And when you look around and you see so much of history with the culture over there, the ethos of Indian Military Academy, it overawes you. You want to imbibe all those qualities. The Izzat Naam Nishan, which is the you are fighting, you are laying down your life, the feeling of sacrifice for the nation. They teach you. They teach you the drill square over there is huge and massive. So the drill is taught so that when you are given an order, you follow the order to the T. So it is something which will help the army, the navy, the air force, wherever. That when an order is given, because everything is about battle, about war. The aim is very clear. Why do you join the armed forces? For the nation. And when the nation calls you to go to war to the borders, you have to follow orders. So when to follow orders, drill is very important. Physical training is important. That is to undergo the rigors of battle operations, war, etc. But the mental training is very important. So one of the aspect over there is drill. So a lot of time is spent over there in the academy towards making you mentally and physically robust. So a lot of outdoor activities, horse riding, and you go for cross country. You participate in so many games, and you are given a lot of opportunity for your hobbies. And then a lot of drill work takes place early in the morning, and your routine is very well set over there. Then there are the military topics over there. And then so the world over, all the leaders of the world, the military leaders, their biographies are studied. There are so many case studies they teach you. So the 1.5 years I spent in Indian Military Academy, the wonderful guest speakers. Almost every evening you attend a guest speaker. I remember Mr. Natwar Singh, he came and spoke to us on foreign, affairs. So many, guest speakers of world over, they come and speak to you. So your horizon changes, it widens. You start understanding a little bit that there is more to life than just what we are doing. So that Indian Military Academy, once you have gone through the physical and mental mobility they teach you, and military subjects they teach you, but they also give you an exposure about your own nation, and then they teach you about the countries across, and they divide the whole world into so many spheres. What affects our country, what happens in war and things like that, the dynamics of war. So when you come out as a complete soldier, a thinking soldier. So Indian Military Academy was really wonderful. It just went through. We used to get up early in the morning, 4:35, and so our classes used to go on, and there were so many aspects. We had no time. I don't think we spent even an hour in our rooms. In the daytime, of course, we never spent a single minute, and in the night also we used to knock off around 11, and then again there were many night parades and night drills and things like that. We used to listen to sounds. They used to teach us to listen to various types of sounds and try and identify them. And then there was studying about the stars. So we used to go out in the middle of the night to study the various stars. How do you identify which is the North Star? So it's a wonderful experience. I really enjoyed our period in Indian Military Academy, and so many instructors whom we remember till date.
Got it, sir. So if you could tell us, did you join the 9 para right after that? And what was your motivation back then, to join the 9 para?
Yeah, I actually till then my aim was, till before I joined the Indian Army, my aim was to play for the country in the Indian hockey Olympic team. My only ambition from 7th, 8th standard was to get into the Indian Olympic team and win a gold medal for India. So in my school also for 8 hours, 4 hours in the morning, early morning, I used to catch the first bus and go to the stadium. And there, coach, one Mr. Charles used to be there. He was our coach. And 4 hours he used to drill us in the morning, and then again 4 hours in the evening. I used to reach home in the last bus around 10:30 in the night. And for years I did this type of this thing. And so my aim was to play hockey for the represent India. So I played for Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. It's the All India Central School, which we participate in School Games Federation of India. I remember we played in Calcutta in 1981, I think. And I also represented Tamil Nadu state in junior nationals in Kolhapur. I remember the junior nationals were conducted. I also represented Punjab University. I got a scholarship, and so I requested my father. So I went, and so my complete tuition fee was free. My staying, lodging was free. My everything, they used to give us meals and everything. So I told my father, see, and he knew my ambition in life was. So I joined over there. I played for Punjab University also. Seeing the politics everywhere, everyone wants their state. So a person like I, my father was also in the Airforce. So we had no particular state because you are moving around. Every 2 years, there's a new posting. So every state used to say, son, you are not part of our, So Tamil Nadu I played, they said, you are not a, Tamilian. So we would like a Tamilian. So still they selected me for my merit. So I went to Punjab. There also they said, you are not a, Singh. So I saw this little amount of politics, not at the lower level, at the higher level. And that also was a little bit of politics. So everyone suggested you, why don't you go through the army? So that is how I went into the Indian Army, and I said, let me come and play for the services. So when I joined Indian Military Academy, my aim was again through the army to play in the services. So when I joined, they said for 1.5 years you can't play. So though I played over there in local tournaments and things, but I couldn't play at the national level. So 1.5 years I this thing, and then again somehow I went and led the Northern Command team, and we won the Inter-Services Championship. I was the captain of Northern Command. We won. We bet Navy, we bet Air Force, we bet all the North Zone, West, and everything. And so, but by then it was too late. I realized that So when I was in the Indian Military Academy, at that time, I wanted to join a unit or regiment which had maximum hockey Olympians. So I joined 5BR. So I requested, the commandant over there that, sir, they told me, why don't you join ASC, EME? They also have good teams and you can play around for a number of years. I said, sir, I also want to do soldiering. So maybe 1 year or 2 years, I will give it a shot. And if I don't make it, I want to do soldiering. So I opted for infantry. All three choices were infantry, and 5 Bihar was my first choice. Dung Dung was an Olympian who was in 5 Bihar. So that is how I opted for 5 Bihar. And also there we had Sushil Topno and then subsequently Manohar Topno. They were also representing our country. So it was so that is how along with them I played up till went up to the services. But I realized that that 1.5 years where I had not played serious hockey, I will not get into the Indian team. And somehow I realized that soldiering is more important than representing your nation. So my ambition to play and represent the country vanished. The soldiering took precedence. And when it took precedence, by then I had served for about 2.5 years in the Bihar, unit, in the infantry unit. And then is when I said that I need to join 9 Para Special Forces. So that is how I volunteered for 9 Para.
Got it, sir. So if you could also speak about, how was your probation back then, and any experiences that you would like to share. What are they testing you for? What qualities are they looking at?
Yeah, when I joined the Bihar unit, it was just moving to Siachen. So for about 2 years in Leh, Ladakh, everywhere, and then subsequently Siachen, we served. And I enjoyed the challenge over there. In high altitude areas, there's very limited oxygen. You can't walk fast. Running is out of question, and you're climbing mountains, and you're carrying a pack of about 20, 25, 30 kgs as youngsters. So even though we were youngsters, we found it very challenging living in those areas. So after my stint over there, I saw that it's an infantry unit is an important part when it goes to war. There are about 800 to 1,000 men over there, and so many officers and JCOs. So I found that I need to do something very personal, something very challenging. Actually, I have never lived in my comfort zone. So that impatience which I spoke to you earlier was this. I get bored very fast. I have to do something challenging. Something has to challenge me. I can't even today. You ask my wife, there is no way I am going to sit and just while away my time. So, and I am 62 years old. So this thing is there inside. People who join special forces, you cannot be in your comfort zone. If you are in your comfort zone, your growth will not take place. So this thing which was egging me on that war will take place once in 25 years or something like that. Or I want a challenge every day, and a challenge every day is only in a special forces unit. Every day of your life, and I have served for about 20 years in regimented units. So every day you are out on operations, and if you have it in you to face that type of a rigor of mental challenge, physical challenge, there is no break. We have not worn our uniforms. So if somebody is coming for the glamour, there is no glamour. You're not meeting anybody. Your operations, you come back, you take a day's break, again operation. Come back, take a day's break, again operation. So there is nothing known as a break. You're not meeting anybody. My daughter, we have one child, used to call me uncle because she didn't know that I was the father. So that is the state. So if you have it in you to face challenges every day of your life, day in and day out, in dangers, and of course that adrenaline of yours should be pumping, and you should have the leadership qualities. People should know that if he is there, nothing is going to happen to us. So if you have it in you, US Special Forces is the place for you.
So, sir, if you could also tell us, your experience in the probation, because I've heard, other officers speaking like Major Jacob, Major Deepak from 9 Para, how their experiences were, but they were relatively younger officers. So, how was your experience back then in the probation?
Yeah, you see, about 2 years plus, we were in Siachen. I told you with 5 Bihar. So this was in 87. Our tenure over there from 85 to 87, our tenure finished, and So when 87, if you recollect, Sri Lanka operations had commenced. Somewhere in October, Sri Lanka operations had commenced, and the Indian Army was, in parts were deployed over there. So I came to know that 9 Para Special Forces. I saw them when we were in Leh Ladakh area. I saw them training. I saw 9 Para training. So I was not aware of Special Forces. So I asked people, who are these bunch of jokers? So they said, "अरे sir, ये तो वो है अपने special forces वाले." So I said, "What's so bloody great about them? We are better." Said, "No sir, we follow orders. They don't follow orders. They follow their own orders." I said, "What the hell is this?" So I asked about 9 Para Special Forces. They said they are mountain commandos, and so they are they are specific to mountains. They can be used anywhere else also, but their primary role is in the mountains. So I said, "Wow, I love mountains, and we are in Siachen, and we've done so much of work." So I think so. They said, "Sir, why don't you go to 10? 10 is all deserts, and one is can be used in the east, and it can also have a role anywhere else also." So at that time, we had only 3 special forces units. That is 9, 10, and 1. So I said, "No, I'll go to 9." And so now the problem over here is that you have to volunteer. So when you volunteer, no unit will allow you to volunteer. No unit, So nobody wants to send their best people to the special forces. But somehow, you get around. It takes months to, pester. So it took me about 6 to 8 months in my Bihar unit to convince them. They said, "What's wrong with you? We will make you the adjutant. We will, whatever role you want, we will give you. Why do you want to go?" So I said, "No, sir, I have to go." So when my commanding officer, Colonel Aluwalia, was there, very fine gentleman, he used to, he saw my handwriting was very poor. He said, "Sonny, I will teach you how to write." So he used to say, "Your R is not good," things. I said, "Sir, it's very boring. Let my R remain wherever it is." He used to find it very funny. So they tried to groom me and make me sit and become a good staff officer, a regimented officer. I said, "Sir, I have served now in Siachen for 2 years plus, and peacetime soldiering is not for me. I need to go to." So they allowed me to go. They realized that they will not be able to. So when I joined, 9 Para Special Forces, it was deployed in Sri Lanka in the thick of battle. So I by ship I reached Jaffna, where 9 Para Special Forces at that time was, and so when you are in operations, so there is hostility all around. So your probation is by fire. So you are sent out. So I remember my commanding officer, he sent me out for an independent mission. We had to walk through the thick of jungles for about, it was 25 kilometers. We had to walk by night and go and carry out surveillance of one area. And, so that area, and then subsequently, more troops of our unit were to link up with us. So he said, and in the commando course, I had got an instructor grading. So he told me, "Son, you have served in Siachen and you have seen battle over there. So I don't see a problem." So we were about 10 or 12 people, all commandos, and I had very good, squad commanders. So they said, "Sir, so don't worry, sir, let's go." And we were, for the first time from Jaffna, we were entering the jungles of Wavunia jungles. So we walked, and I remember we walked the whole night, and somewhere we saw, some elephants in the middle of the night. So, and this was my first operation, and I was under probation. So I told them, "And be careful. I don't want the elephant to, charge us, and we will suffer casualties." So we gradually skirted the elephants, and when we skirted the elephants, we found some civilians firing at the elephants, 12-bore guns. So I recognized the noise of 12-bore guns. Some of my men told me, "Sir, they are militants." So I said, "No, nobody will open fire." So then we skirted these men who were firing at on the elephants, and then we came back to the compass reading which we were to follow. And somewhere, I took a head count in the middle of the night. I said, "We have come 2 places we had to change course. So I want to know if all men are there. So I did a head count and I found one chap missing. So I on my radio set, I told my commanding officer, we used to call him, some figure. So I told that figure and I said, sir, one person is missing and I'm going back. I'm retracking and going back to that spot to see where he is. And then, he said, yeah, don't worry, get back and just check it out. So I went back and I found that guy. When the firing was taking place, he had taken cover under. So when we left, he didn't know that we had left. So we took him. One person called Panikar, I remember his name. So we told Panikar, come on, let's go. And so we went back. I forgot to reopen and establish communication and tell my commanding officer that I have picked him up. He's safe. All are safe. I continued because we had to reach by first light, So early morning, I was very close to the target where I was, but I had lost about 3 odd hours in between because of the elephants and because of the civilians firing. So 3 hours. So I was short of the target area where I was to go and carry out surveillance. So I saw a number of helicopters, in an area they were circling. So I opened the set and I asked my commanding officer, sir, all okay? He said, what the hell? You didn't come back to me. I said, I'm very sorry, sir. And what bloody sorry? The whole bloody Indian Army knows that 9 Para Special Forces, one dead is missing. We thought you are under fire, and so all helicopters are trying to give you support. So I said, sir, I'm very sorry. He said, no, the mission is off. Now you just fall back. So we rushed back. So early morning at 4 or 4:30 or 5, we started walking back and we reached just at last light. And the whole unit was going out for the operation which was planned. They were to go launch somewhere. So we had walked for more than 24 hours and we had not a wink of this thing. And my commanding officer, he hugged me and he said, yeah, I'm very thankful that, you have come back, all are safe. And then he spoke to the 3 squad commanders. He asked them, well, how did this gentleman function? They said, sir, he's a tiger. We wanted to shoot, he didn't allow us to shoot. We wanted to skirt, he didn't allow us to skirt. He said, nobody will touch the elephant. Nobody will open fire. He was standing in front of us and they were very certain that they were militants. I said, no way, you will not open fire. So when they all in unison told the commanding officer, sir, you found a gem of a guy. And I didn't know what was happening. So I said, bloody nonsense, you called me back from my operation where I want to participate. I am getting back to my BR unit. I can't really function in this area. So another 1 hour or so, the commanding officer came and he hugged me and he said, come, let's go. I said, sir, where are we going? He said, we are going for the operation and you're going to lead. I said, no. Very nice. So my probation was just for that one operation. He said in that, he was, I don't want to take his name, very fine gentleman. He rose up to a 3-star general. So he told me, son, you will be a legend. You don't worry, you are doing absolutely fine. Your heart, your mind, your body, they are absolutely fit. This is the battalion. You have come to the right place. You will not look back. And we went and we had a very successful operation. So he passed me. It is a 6 months probation. It's a grueling probation in special forces. But in operations, the men have to accept you and your officers have to accept you. Of course, after that, for 6 months, I was in all type of operations. But the commanding officer in just that one operation, he told me, I have selected you. You just hang on there and you are made for this battalion. He was very happy and till date he is in touch with me. So my probation in operations, it is a mission. So if you make it in a mission, they accept it because all the training you are doing for a mission and a live situation training, as they say. So that was what my probation was.
Got it, sir. Sir, if you could also describe, what were your favorite weapons? Because you have worked over a longer time of span. What were your favorite weapons in all those combat experiences?
Yeah, we operate in all sectors and it depends on the, operations. So there are no favorite weapons. It depends on the mission you are going out for. It can be, the smallest weapon to the largest weapon, and you sit down and you work out who will carry what weapon. Generally you go out and you take 2 squads or 3 squads, and you each person you work out. He will carry this weapon. This weapon will be carried. So you carry a mix of weapons, and you yourself, see, as I mentioned, you don't have to fire. You as an officer, you don't have to fire. Then you are going wrong. You are there. You are carrying the weapons. It is you are motivating and you are taking the men over there, because the men have to deliver. So it's the leadership. It's not personal. It's not personal, and it is all mental. So yes, every type of weapon we work out, and you have the support of the, you name a thing, you are in touch, in communication with everybody. As a special forces soldier, everybody is listening to you. You are briefed at the highest level. So when you go out for a mission, the whole nation is looking at you. So you are briefed, and everybody is there to support. You want an attack helicopter to come, an attack helicopter will come. You want a type of artillery shell to fall, you have to just put the coordinates, and artillery shell will fall. So everybody is there. You want air support will come, a fixed wing. So you want somebody else to come and block something or whatever, again they will come. So it is not the strength, and it is not your weapon. It is your mind which is ticking. And your mission is very delicate, very sensitive. There is no, bravado here. There is no Tarzan who's working over here. It is your mind. It's a mental game, and you have to conserve yourself. And you must have so much of physical and mental stamina inside you that you will deliver again and again and again. I remember in Sri Lanka, first we were for 2 years plus in high altitude areas. I was constantly, working over there, operating. And then again in Sri Lanka, 2.5 years constantly. And the jungles of Sri Lanka are thick, primary jungles. The sun can't come down. There's no, there are wild animals. The undergrowth is very thick. Navigation is difficult. You hardly have any maps. Something is written here, and 15 kilometers ahead, there's something else written. One small, some nala over there, some whatever over there. It's very difficult. So you are doing at that time. You didn't have GPS. You had just a compass. So with the compass, you're working out your bearings. You're carrying 3 compasses, 4 compasses. So it's not the weapon. It's the mission. The mission is supreme. So as per the mission, you carry the weapons.
Got it, sir. Sir, were you also part of the Kargil? Because I have read the 9 Paras role in the Kargil. Major Sudhir Walia was there. I have also seen Colonel Brito write about it on his Insta also. Were you also part of the Kargil? Or
See, actually, during Kargil, I was posted on staff, and we were in a different location. I was brigade major at that time, and I was with independent brigade, and we were deployed somewhere else. And the I could not leave my staff posting, because as a brigade major, you are the right hand man of the commander, and we were also deployed in the borders somewhere. And so we had carried out exercises and things like that, and we were also ready to do so many things, and things like that. There was something else somewhere else, so I could not leave my unit, and I had left the unit just before Kargil. I had gone to United Nations, deployed in Africa, Angola, and when I came back, they posted me as a brigade major somewhere to give me a break. So when I had just joined, and a couple of months later, Kargil happened, we were also deployed somewhere else. And being a right hand man of the commander, he said, there is no way you can go leave us in a lurch. The other person who will come, he will not know what is happening. So for me, it was very difficult to move out. So yes, we saw Kargil, but from an infantry perspective.
Got it, sir. So if you could tell us, what was the toughest situation as a, commando you have faced, and how did you come out of it? What was your mindset back then?
Yeah, you are asking a very good question. What we tell our men, and we tell ourselves, and we tell everybody wherever we go, we tell the Indian Army, you should not lose lives. That is the challenge. Losing life is very easy. We should not get injured, we should not get hit, and we should achieve our mission. So the challenge is to achieve what you have set out to without losing lives. It's like a chess game. So you use the ground to your advantage, you use your weapons to your advantage, you use your superior training to your advantage, you use the psychological, mind of ours to our advantage, you use all the resources to your advantage, and you don't get shot up. You look the enemy in the eye. This is the challenge. You cannot be, when something, if you have entered the battlefield, you should be aware of the enemy. You should know where he is, how many men he has, what are the weapons he has, and for that you have to keep him in your sights. From a young officer of a lieutenant or a captain, I have looked the militant in the eye, look the enemy in the eye. You will be surprised, in hundreds of firefights, not a scratch hit me, not a scratch, not a bullet wound. And I was in the thick of it. And this is my lesson, which I mention to everybody. If you know the enemy, where he is, what is the weapon he is using, where all he has his deployment, how he is going to react, the way you are acting, he is going to react, how he is going to react, proactively be engaged, you will not get hit, and your men also will not get hit. So this is the challenge. Success without losses is the challenge. And everybody is there. The whole Indian Army, the armed forces are there to help you. Don't be in a hurry. What is the hurry? Don't be in a hurry. If you are in a hurry to finish the operation, you will buy casualties. So this is, you have to hold Hosh or Josh. Hosh is your mental capability, and Josh is your motivation, enthusiasm, positiveness. You cannot forego one for the other. Both have to be there. You have to be balanced. So you have to hold the people around you. They all want to just go and get the enemy. No, there is time. There is time. Wait it out. Wait it out. Don't be very sure of yourself. Don't be overconfident. So the challenge over here is, it's a mission. It's not a suicide mission. It's a suicide mission for the enemy, not for us. So this is the challenge. You have to tell your men, you have to tell everybody, you have to have leadership qualities where you are the first person. Everywhere you should be the first person who is, you are not giving orders. The men will protect you. So you are following them to the T. And then it's a waiting game. You are getting them and you are completing the mission also. So the challenge is to read the battle, to read the ground, to read the enemy, to read your men, to read the resources, utilize the resources. So, and every day is a new day. You cannot put templates that I did this in that place and it's going to work here. No, everybody is reading the battle. The same way, the enemy is also as smart, if not better than you. So the challenge is Hosh or Josh.
Got it, sir. So, if I can ask you, from your experience in the army, any three life lessons that you have learned which you still cherish even today, what would they be?
Life's lesson. there are so many of them. You have every day you learn some lesson or the other. So life's lesson I feel is that hard work. Everybody talks of destiny. It is hard work 95%. So, and 5% is your destiny. And that 5% also you don't wait for it. So, this is one lesson I want all our youth and children to understand, that 95% is hard work. So, you have to work, 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 and work. And if you have not achieved your target, there is another day, there is another year, there are another 10 years, and there is another birth. If you don't achieve whatever you have set yourself out, you will get another chance in your next birth. So there is no hurry. Breathe normally. And of course, don't be a doormat. You know, don't you stand up, you speak, but you also be open. See, earlier when I was very young, I used to not listen to my seniors. I had a problem because I am on ground. So I felt for my men, I am doing the correct thing. Gradually, I started listening to my seniors. It takes time. It takes time. When you are young, you're hot-blooded. You are in the thick of it. There's firing going on all around. There are lives which are uh, being lost. So you get carried away. Gradually, you start cooling down, and you realize that all your seniors are speaking for you. So they want to help you out, and they've gone through this. So it takes time. So that hot bloodedness is there in operations for about 5 odd years. But out of the 20 years, my first 5 to 6 years, 7 years were very hot blooded. Gradually, I cooled down. I did a lot of meditation and I calmed myself down. Even today, it's not easy for someone to convince me, but still, but still, I do listen. So there is, everybody has some limitations. Some just get it, the crack of a finger, they get it. Some don't. So I am one of those. I take time to say yes. I do take time, but the worry is for your men. So as young officers, as young soldiers, we are more bothered about the lives of our men. So we don't just say yes. We say, sir, we'll think it over. We'll talk to our men. So he says, what the hell, yeah? I'm telling you, do it this way. I say, sir, you are hundreds of kilometers away. I am here. Let me take a decision. So I used to not listen. So they used to get cheesed off. And then gradually they realized that basically he is trying to save lives. So, and I am achieving whatever I am being told. So this problem is there even today. There is a gap between the junior leader and the senior leader. So the senior leaders of ours are very mature. They do give us a lot of space, and they keep that ambiguity in there. There is a difference between orders and instructions. Orders are, you have to follow it to the T. And instructions are, you are given a guideline. You have to achieve this, and how you achieve it is generally left to you. Some things. So we, as young junior leaders, we follow instructions because the ground dictates to us. But gradually you learn to amalgamate both orders and instructions, and you keep the organization over you.
Got it,
So
sir.
life's lessons, yes, life's lessons are where you don't follow orders to the T, but you try and mix and match. The lives are important, and the mission is also important. The time is also important. The resources are also important. The higher aim of battle and war are also very important. So these are the life's lessons you learn as the years go by.
Got it, sir. So my final question to you would be, since a lot of aspirants will be watching it, what will be your message to all of them who wants to join the forces or the special forces?
Yeah, you want to join the Indian Army or Indian Navy or Indian Air Force or BSF, CRPF, you are welcome because you have to have uh, the aptitude and you have to have the zeal and enthusiasm to serve the nation. See, we are not talking of money here. You want to earn money, you go to Europe, you go to America, you go to the Middle East, wherever, and you show your skills, do some certifications, and you will earn crores and crores. Here we are looking at serving the nation. So, and as I mentioned to you, if you serve the nation in any of the field, even in the civil street, is very important. Building the nation. Don't leave the country. It's very easy to go and earn pots and pots of gold and then do what with it? Nothing. We require two or three times of meal, a place, a shelter to stay, and something to wear. That's it. At the end of the day, you don't require anything more than this. So when you understand this bit, then you will not leave the country. Don't leave the country for greener pastures. Outside, if you think they are, because you can earn it, but you will be a second-rate citizen, a third-rate citizen, serving some other nation. You serve your own country, be a first-rate citizen. Stand on the middle of a street and you will find everybody respecting you. So, having said that, what I say is if you want to join the armed forces, do join the armed forces in whatever way you want. As per your skill, you have done a BTech, you've done a medical degree, you've done whatever, you serve. And you can join you as a support, you have fighting arms and you have service. So you can join anywhere you want and you do a bit, do 3 years, 5 years, join the special forces. Anybody can join the special forces. You have to be a volunteer and you volunteer and you serve one tenure and you see whether it gels with you. The life in special forces is very difficult. You're forever in operations. There's something known as life situation training, and that is required. Life situation training is where you have to be ready constantly to go into war. And for that, they are under training. It is training. So you keep yourself physically, mentally robust, and things like that. If you have it in you, please continue to serve the special forces. Continue to serve. Feel lucky. And as I mentioned, you have to be a leader 24 hours, 365 days to serve in a special forces unit. If you have it in you, and then when you get back, go wherever you want, and then you spread the message. You spread your life's lessons everywhere. Motivate everybody to join the armed forces, to join the government, to do nation building, have the zeal, positiveness to serve the community. So, yes, special forces is one part of you, and subsequently also continue serving the nation.
Got it, sir. Thanks a lot, sir, for your time on this session. It was really nice, understanding your experiences, your thought process on serving the nation building thought process. I hope a lot of aspirants will be watching this, will benefit from it and will get motivated as well from your experiences. Thanks a lot, sir. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Akash. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you, sir.